Hey, what's up all? It's Jono here, and welcome back to Pokemon Shield, and a significant change in plan with this episode. But you see, at the end of the last episode, I said that I was going to do a little bit of training in between, main episodes, but I was also going to record it just in case something happened. And I originally planned to only do this for about half an hour, because I only needed to do a little bit of training. But in the end, I played for about 2 hours. So that's when I realised, I don't think I'm going to fit all the things that happened during those 2 hours in a short 5-minute montage at the beginning of the episode. So in a change of plan, what I'm going to be doing is, well, something a little bit different than I typically would do. What I'm going to be doing is, right as I'm doing right now, I'm going to be doing the commentary over the recording that I did the other night. As I said, this is not something I typically do, but considering just how much there was done, I figured, there's actually enough to make it a full episode. And quite a few things happened during that time, I caught a bunch of new Pokemon, including some Dynamax encounters, as well as getting some interesting items from those Dynamax battles, as well as having a few Pokemon evolve. And as I said, this episode is literally just going to be me showing you what has happened, so I'll admit this is probably not going to be the most exciting episode, but if you want to sit down and relax for most likely over half an hour just to see what exactly I've done in this session, then feel free to join me as we will go back into the wild area for some training and some rather interesting moments. Let's do this. So as I said, I decided to go back to the wild area because at the end of the day, the wild area definitely is the best place to train up my Pokemon. Especially considering a lot of Pokemon around here are at least around about level 30, which will definitely help level up the likes of my Liloon and some other Pokemon. Just to make them stronger, just for preparations for some of the future gym battles. But it was also a good opportunity to train up and maybe catch some more Pokemon, like this Carkol for example. And all the new Pokemon I'm going to capture in this episode, I will show the Pokédex entries, but it will be very brief, so if you wanted to read them, feel free just to pause the video and you can read them yourself. Anyway, so as you can see now, I'm now at a Pokemon den, which has a Butterfree, which is interesting because I recently did a max raid battle that had a Butterfree. So I figured, you know what, we'll do that. Also picked up the 300 watts as well, so we'll do that. But the big question is it going to be another Dynamax Butterfree? The answer to that is no, it's not. It's actually just a normal Butterfree. But you know what? I'm here now, we might as well battle it, might as well try and catch it, and also get some pretty cool items while we're here. So for this max raid battle, I decided to get help from my Toxtricity. Although I definitely had a few, options against the Butterfree. Could have used Corvisquire or Salazzle. Definitely had a few options, but I figured, why not see Toxtricity in Dynamax form once again. And the NPCs are actually pretty useful for once. Well, somewhat useful. One person actually had the right idea of bringing a Weevil to the battle, but as I think this was only a 2-star Dynamax Pokemon, it wasn't going to be too difficult, and as you can see, my attack pretty much knocked it out and ready for capture. However, something bizarre happens. Yes, despite the fact that I'm playing this on my own, the Butterfree broke out. And yeah, it was a 2-star Dynamax Pokemon, so I should have caught it. I did get some nice items though, including a big mushroom and a bar mushroom, and at the time, I wasn't sure what happened, but then it kicked me out, and as you can see, the den regains the energy, 300 watts again, which should not have happened, and now a new Pokemon has appeared in that den. And in fact, all the other Pokemon dens have started shooting out a beam of light. And I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think the reason that it happened was because I was playing this just before midnight, and obviously the time, my local time, went past midnight during that battle against the Burfree. So whether that had an impact or not, as for why I didn't catch the Butterfree, I do not know. If anyone has any ideas, let me know, because that was a 2-star Pokemon capture. I should have caught it, but for whatever reason I didn't. That's the only thing I can think of. But I'm going to ignore that disappointment, because we've now got another Dynamax battle against a Musharna. I think this one's actually a 3-star. And I think 3-star Dynamax Pokemon, I think, are somewhere, I think, between level 35 and 40. So, yeah, this one was going to be a tough capture, so I decided to use Dreadnought simply because of its Dark-type attacks. I could have used Linoone thinking about it, but Dreadnought was definitely my stronger Pokemon, so I figured I'd have a little bit more chance. But yeah, as you can see, that attack was super effective, but didn't do a huge amount of damage. And admittedly, yeah, the NPCs decided to not help me at all. And Magikarp, which knew Hydro Pump, and I think that was a critical hit as well, hardly did anything. We also have a Togepi and a Maractus. Mind Storm on that Maractus, instant knockout. I think it was trying to use Solar Beam, but as it happens, that was a complete waste of time. Yeah, and that's pretty much one of the big problems with doing these max raid battles like solo. A lot of the time, the NPCs, let's be honest, don't help you, especially on some of the tougher Pokemon like these 3-star Pokemon. But I wasn't going to give up. I was going to give it a go anyway, because, well, I'm here now, so I might as well give it a go. Another Max Darkness attack, almost taking it down to half health there. Trying once again to use Hydro Pump, but it didn't work. Musharna decided just to use a normal attack on me, which is absolutely fine. And then Togepi decided to heal up everyone's hit points, although it was really just me that needed the health. Sophie's got her Maractus back again. I would like to take a guess of whether she's going to really help out again, or whether it will get knocked out again, but I launch another Max Darkness attack. Musharna now down to half health, but as this is now a 3-star Dynamax Pokemon, we now start to see some mysterious barriers being formed around the wild Pokemon. Once it reaches a certain amount of hit points. Once again, uses Mind Storm, uses it on Togepi this time, but Togepi managed to survive thanks to that Focus Sash. So obviously that trainer obviously spoken to, what's his name? Was it Brian, I think, in Hammerlock? Who demonstrated the power of the Focus Sash and then used Endeavour. But yeah, as this has taken so many turns, sadly my Dynamax powers have run out, but I can still use my Bite Attack, no problem at all. So just slowly but surely wear down the armour, and actually Magikarp's attack actually managed to hit, and even Solar Beam did. Not a huge amount of damage, but we did manage to destroy the barrier. Lower its health a little bit, and also its defense fell, which will definitely make things a lot easier. Ah, poor Togepi fainted, but managed to get that attack in to remove the barrier before it fainted, so that's all good. Maractus fell asleep because I forgot about the Yawn attack, but that's okay, because now that its defense is low, I should... Yeah, there we go. Managed to knock it out with my Bite Attack. Now the big question is, this was my first capture attempt since the bizarre failure with the Butterfree. So the big question is, am I going to be able to catch it? Well, it didn't break out, so that's a good sign. And there we go, we actually managed to catch this Pokemon. So yeah, as I said, at the time of me recording the video, it was, I don't know, I didn't understand it, but then when I realised it went past midnight, maybe that has something to do with that failed capture? I don't know, and this was a 3-star catch as well. Anyway, as I mentioned, I'm not going to show the Pokédex screen in full there, so just pause the video or rewind the video if you want to read it. Anyway, on to another max raid battle, but this one was only a 1-star. Just a 1-star battle, so this should be no problem. And I didn't show it there, but I think that Mashana was actually level 35, which was right at the limit that I'm able to catch Pokemon. Anyway, now we've got a Clobberpuss. And, well, I've only really got one Pokemon. Well, actually, technically, I've got 2 now, thinking about it. But I decided to use my Corvusquire because Corvusquire, I know I can rely on. So, of course, you bet I'm going to be Dynamaxing my Pokemon. As this is so low, there's no way I'm going to be passing, you know, the option to Dynamax. So let's have a listen to Corvusquire. Oh, yeah. Not as, what's the word I'm looking for? Not as, like, well, bone-shivering, I suppose you could say, as, Rookidee's cry when it's, Dynamaxed. But yeah, as you can see, Clobberpuss, only 1-star, and as a result, pretty much an instant knockout, and therefore, I'd say, a guaranteed catch with the Pokeball. But hey, this is all good stuff because these are all new Pokemon. Might as well add them to the Pokedex. Come on, Clobberpuss. You know you want to join the team. Even though you'll probably spend a lot of your time in the box. And there we go, another Pokemon caught. And once again, the Pokedex entry will show up, but only for a few seconds. So, as I keep saying, if you want to have a read of the Pokédex entry, feel free to pause the video. So some more interesting items there, and here's the Pokédex entry. So, wandering around. So I figured, you know what, might as well try and catch some Pokemon, seeing as I've decided to commit myself to playing more than just half an hour in this just in-between episode session. So next up, we have ourselves a 2-star Dynamax Pokemon. It's an Esper. And I figured, you know what, let's try out Linoone. Linoone should have no problem. And as I said, it's only a 2-star Dynamax Pokemon, so this should be absolutely no problem. Sadly, some of the NPC's Pokemon of choice are, yeah, not great. I definitely saw what a throw there. Really? A throw against a Psychic type? Bravo. Totally what I would have done. Bravo, whoever chose throw. What other Pokemon were there? There was a Heatmore, and I think that was a... I think that's a Salazzle there as well, wasn't there? Not really the best choice considering it's part poison type, but as you can see, very, very hard-hitting attack there on that Esper, thanks to my attack. And yep, Salazzle does a Fire Lash. Curiously, Esper uses Mind Storm on Heatmore. Of the of the 4 choices, it went for, well, not quite the worst one, but certainly not the best one. And there we go, Heatmore's, I think, used Fire Lash as well. That managed to deliver the knockout blow for that Esper, which also allows me to try and catch this Pokemon. And yeah, I still wasn't sure whether I was completely wrong what I said in, I think, in the previous episode, that as I was doing this offline, technically, it was like 100% guaranteed. But as you can see, yep, the Pokeball shaking once again. And there we go, another capture. So it was then that I thought, yeah, I think it was something to do with the fact that it went past midnight whilst I was battling that birthday. Anyway, some more items, including a few useful TRs there, Psychic TRs. Also, getting a lot of experience candies, which I'll definitely be using eventually, but I won't be using them in this particular recording. Back in the wild area once again, and actually because it went past midnight, the weather in this particular area of the wild area had changed. And I'm glad it did because, well, I'll show you after this Dynamax max raid battle, but I'm glad the weather forecast changed because from my playthrough of Pokemon Sword, I remember that in that specific area with that specific weather forecast, a certain Pokemon appears there, which I think we'll get to after this Dynamax battle, if I remember rightly. Anyway, so we've now got an Oddish, and I'm using Salazzle, so this should once again be no problem at all. Oh yes, Salazzle means business. And Freya's EV uses Helping Hand on me, which is actually a very smart move. Because with my Max Flare attack, yeah, instant knockout on the Oddish. Yes, it was a weak Pokemon, but still. I don't know whether the Helping Hand would have helped out anyway, but definitely a smart move there by Freya there. So good thinking using Helping Hand for my Pokemon. So once again, another capture, and bizarrely, I don't think I actually caught Oddish before, even though I thought I did. I guess I somehow didn't catch it when I first entered the wild area. So that's another new Pokemon to add to the collection. And there we go. Oddish was caught. Hell yeah. Just a few random items, just more experience candies more than anything, but still very useful to have. And once again, here's the Pokédex entry. So after that capture Oddish, I decided just to head back into the wild area itself, just battle against a few Pokemon to train up, but I was in this area to search out a specific Pokemon. And there it is, right in front of me. But before I do, I just wanted to switch to Toxtricity, just so I can use Nuzzle to paralyze it. But yes, this is the Pokemon I've been wanting to find, Riolu! And once I evolve you, my Gym Challenger number that I assigned myself when we went to register very early in the game, that number will definitely make more sense once Riolu evolves. Anyway, Nuzzle attack on Riolu, which actually did a lot more damage than I was anticipating. Which was slightly annoying, but that's the way it goes. But luckily, there was hail, so we were both going to get damaged. But obviously, I couldn't afford to really use any other moves, so I just decided you know what, we'll just use a Great Ball. Hopefully, we'll capture this Riolu without any problem. And there we go, no problem at all. And as you can see, my Pokemon are getting pretty strong now, because in between Dynamax battles, I'm still training up my Pokemon. And here's the Pokédex entry for Riolu, if you want to read it. So yeah, I also am doing some battling against normal wild Pokemon in between the Dynamax battles. So my Pokemon are slowly but surely starting to get stronger, but still not quite at a level that I feel comfortable with going forward with, going forward for the next couple of gyms. So now that I've managed to find that Riolu, I now head back on the road to do some more Dynamax battles. And here's another one with a ground-type Pokemon. And I figured, you know what, might as well stick with Rillaboom here. Because I think I moved Rillaboom up front once I caught that Riolu, just in case. But as it turns out, this Pokemon is Drillbur, which is very useful, actually. Because back when I was in, back we were in Galar Mine, like the first Galar Mine, I was kind of trying to catch a Drillbur, but they kept running away. But seeing that we've managed to encounter one in these max raid battles, then that worked out well for me. Plus also this was a good excuse for me just to see what Dynamax Rillaboom looks like. I mean, obviously it's just going to be giant Rillaboom, but I wanted to see my Rillaboom in a gigantic form. Sadly, not a Gigantamax form. But it'll still do for me. As for NPCs, someone with a Weevil again, very good choice there. Also nice with a critical hit there. which allows me to use max overgrowth and completely annihilate the Drillbur. So yeah, no problem with that at all. And I may have missed my opportunity to catch you earlier on in this game, but I'm not going to miss this opportunity this time. Not that I really had any plans to, you know, use Drillbur and its evolved form in my squad anytime soon, but you know what, I wanted to catch it. And besides, again, this is just a good excuse for me to fill up the Pokédex. I mean, I didn't really plan to fill up the Pokédex, but considering I'd now decided that, yeah, I wasn't going to play for just half an hour, I'm going to play for as long as I want, I figured, you know what, in between training, I might as well catch all these Pokemon. Anyway, so this Drillbur, the 2-star Drillbur, a couple more TRs rather, and a few berries, nothing majorly special, and here's Drillbur's Pokédex entry, if he wants to read it. And I think this is actually the final max raid battle I'm going to do. And as you can see, flying and steel. Yep. And it's a 3-star encounter. So this was going to be tough, but I decided to take a chance with it anyway. Yep. It is a Dynamax Corviknight. And I figured my best bet would be Toxtricity. And little did I know at the beginning of this did I realise that this was going to be quite the long battle, especially considering the Pokemon of choice: Wishy-Washy, Clefairy, and Magikarp. Thanks, game. Could have chosen some slightly better NPCs. Like, there's some of the Magikarp against a Corviknight, a 3-star Dynamax Corviknight. Well, I'm going to have to rely on your help pretty much for the entire battle, Toxtricity. But to be honest, at the beginning of this battle, I was not very optimistic, especially considering that attack there didn't do a huge amount of damage in all honesty. So I was not that optimistic. But I figured, well, might as well go for it, because that's the way it goes. Luckily, that Clefairy had a Focus Sash, but yeah, look how little damage Hydro Pump did. Come on, kid, at least evolve your Magikarp into a Gyarados. That would have been a lot more effective. Yeah, the NPC's Pokemon, they are not doing much damage, like at all, like hardly anything at all. It is literally just going to be down to me. Corviknight's using Max Strike, but thankfully on me, so it wouldn't have done a huge amount of damage, so that's no problem. Clefairy's using Life Dew, just heal up our health a little bit. Not a huge amount, but, you know, every little bit helps. Maybe not so much for Clefairy there, but, you know, still a bit. Anyway, one more Max Lightning against the Corviknight, and curiously, Clefairy uses Follow Me, which I guess makes sense, considering it was already low on health. So maybe Clefairy just wanted to sacrifice itself, so Corviknight couldn't attack the other Pokemon. So there we go, managed to get another Max Lightning, but unfortunately, as this is a 3-star encounter, we now start to see these mysterious barriers, but only like 3, like, I'd say levels of barrier there, unlike the other, what was, the Bushana, that's what it was, the previous 3-star Pokemon, Dynamax Pokemon we battled against. And of course, as it's been 3 turns, sadly, my Dynamax power ran out. So now I had to use my normal attacks. And to be honest, I was going to use Discharge, but then I noticed obviously it affected everyone. But I should have used Nuzzle instead because it still had that barrier. And pretty sure it would have actually paralyzed Corviknight, so I don't know why I didn't think to use Nuzzle. I definitely made a mistake by not using Nuzzle. But either way, we managed to get rid of that mysterious barrier around the Corviknight. So of course that also means it loses a bit of health, and also its defenses fall. Poor Magikarp. But as you can see, Corviknight actually does start using Work Up quite a lot instead of attacking, which actually proved to help us. But thankfully, now that it no longer has that barrier and its defenses are severely weakened, my attack is doing a lot more damage, but still not quite there. Oh, and the Corviknight got to Clefairy again. That was the third knockout. One more knockout and we would be blown out of the den. Fortunately, Corviknight decided just to use Work Up instead of attacking, because if it did attack, especially if it attacked any of the other Pokemon, then that would have been it. I'm not even sure if my Toxtricity would have survived it, considering it would have increased its attack, I think, with all that Work Up. But thankfully, we're on a new turn, and I was hoping that I would be able to get my attack in first, and sure enough, I did. And against all odds, I managed to defeat the Corviknight. So I wanted to try catching it. But of course, in between like these battles, I also checked online just to check, you know, with that failed capture before. Basically, here's what happened when I tried to catch Corviknight. It broke out immediately, but I actually somewhat expected that, because I realised, hang on, Freestart, the Pokemon that you encounter is going to be between level 35 and 40, and I'm only able to catch Pokemon up to level 35, as you can see on this card now. I can only catch Pokemon up to level 35. So that Corviknight must have been at the higher end of that level scale. Whereas that Musharna I caught was actually, even though that was a 3-star Pokemon, it was level 35, so I was able to catch it. And I first thought that Butterfree I encountered was 3-star, but no, it was 2-star. But that's when I realised, I think it was something to do with the fact that I was playing the game and it went past midnight whilst I was in that battle against Butterfree, which probably affected it. Anyway, we're on to another max raid battle, but I believe this is the last one I do. I think there was one other max raid battle available to do, but I decided not to do it. I don't know if it was a 3-star one. If it was a 3-star one, then I think that's probably why I didn't do it, because it was going to be tough going, and if I wasn't going to be able to catch it anyway, then there was no point. Anyway, we got ourselves a Corphish, but I think this was just a 1-star Corphish, so this wasn't going to take very long at all. Especially with my Dynamaxed Toxtricity. Well, it was either going to be Toxtricity or Rillaboom, but I decided to go for Toxtricity, seeing as it did a fantastic job against the Corviknight. And sure enough, that Corphish stood absolutely no chance. No chance whatsoever. So it's just a simple case of, you know, just catching it once again, and also, I was going to say register to the Pokedex, but no, we actually, I have actually caught Corphish in Galon number 2, that's right. But, why not, we'll catch it anyway, just for the fact that I can get some free stuff. And hey, I always like to get some free items, especially more experience candies, you know, just do a quick bit of leveling up while I'm on the road, because I don't plan to do too many, like, in-between main episode sessions in the wild area. You know, just every now and then. And there we go, got some items there, including Waterfall and a big pearl, which is actually kind of cool, actually. Some nice, easy money there. So, there we go. But as I said, I've already caught Corphish, so no Pokedex entry for Corphish. And as I said, that was the last Dynamax battle I decided to do. So I decided just to do a little bit of random training and also, you know, set up camp. You know, hopefully try and make my Pokemon a little bit happier. So here I am just playing with Riolu because I kind of want to see if I can evolve you into a Lucario very soon. And it was also around this time where I was just constantly switching Pokemon around. Partly just to train them up, and also partly just to see if I can get them to evolve. So here I am playing with Trapinch and Esper. And as you can see in the background, Riolu is slowly but surely walking to the toy Pokeball that I threw. Riolu wasn't really in a rush, but it just gave me time just to play with Trapinch and Esper, and then I decided to make a curry. Because I could have done with some healing, and the big question is, are we going to enjoy it? Yay! Riolu loves it. Excellent. And there we go. Hit points restored, and all is good. So, with that, it's back to the training, back into the wild area. Just to train up Riolu a little bit, because as I said, I would like to evolve it into a Lucario very soon. And Esper leveled up there, which allowed it to evolve. So yes, pretty much for the remainder of this video is pretty much just going to be featuring some Pokemon evolutions now. So we've now got the evolved form of Esper. We've got ourselves a Meowstic. And once again, Pokédex entry. Feel free to pause the video if you want to have a read of that. And then I decided, you know what, this particular area of the wild area actually had some pretty strong Pokemon, but the Snover, they're very strong, like quite high leveled, but my Salazzle is still very easily able to knock them out, and as a result, I'm able to hopefully gain some experience points and level up my Pokemon pretty quickly. And yeah, new move for Salazzle there, and there's a very strong looking Snover. Level 40, only level 44 this one, but I have encountered a few level 47 Snover, but thankfully, because of its type, Salazzle, it was still very easy for Salazzle, so very easy experience points there. Leveled up Riolu once again, and also leveled up Trapinch. And Riolu had an option to learn Quick Guard, but I decided not to in the end. I know a few other Pokemon did learn some other moves, but I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm not going to show you absolutely everything. But in the meantime, we got ourselves another Pokemon evolution. This time it's Trapinch's turn to evolve into a Vibrava. Halfway there in your evolution line there, Vibrava. And there's the Pokédex entry for Vibrava. So once again, still battling against the Snover because they're pretty easy for a Salazzle to knock out. Oh, and at that time, for whatever reason, I just decided, you know what, I'll bring the Magikarp to my squad and just evolve it into Gyarados just for the sake of filling up the Pokédex. And because I was playing this at night, I was able to evolve my Galarian Linoone into an Obstagoon, which should hopefully be very helpful in the next gym. So very happy that I managed to get an Obstagoon. Anyway, more battles against Snover because they're very easy for Salazzle to battle against. And also, they are quite common, so no problem for me. And after a bit of battling, I finally managed to evolve Magikarp as well. So yeah, if that NPC with the Magikarp, you know, did some training and actually evolved into a Gyarados, then it would have been a lot more useful. But no, let's have a Magikarp that knows Hydro Pump against the Dynamax Pokemon instead. I don't know. Anyway, I took a bit of a break from training and decided to seek out these NPCs here that will help dig up some treasures. So I got some Stardust, fossilized fish, and that was it, sadly. So what about the other person? A normal gem, and that was it. Yeah, very disappointing haul there, I'm afraid, but, you know, that's the way it goes. And anyway, once again, back to that specific area, in the middle of that little low down in the ground bit, just outside Hammerlock. Oh yeah, as you can see there was a beam of light. There was one max raid battle I decided not to do. I think that was a 3-star Pokemon, and after the previous encounter with the Corviknight, I decided not to bother with that in the end. Anyway, I was just doing some Pokemon movements there, and as you can see, Salazzle is now level 40. Most of my other Pokemon are quite high up there. In fact, yeah, Salazzle is actually my highest level Pokemon. But I decided to switch it out in preparation for the next gym battle, because in terms of moves, Dreadnought would be the better choice. At this moment in time, Riolu hasn't evolved yet, but, you know, with a bit more training, that'll hopefully happen very soon. And as for other Pokemon I plan to keep, at least for the short term, I'm not too sure yet, but I'm sure I will decide. And with that, that's pretty much all the main things I wanted to show you in that. So as you can see, a lot of things happened, and it was going to be very difficult for me to try and cram it down in just a few short minutes at the beginning of an episode. Hence why I decided just to dedicate this episode for this. But don't worry, in the next episode, I will definitely be taking on the Stowon Side Gym Leader, and hopefully with all our training we should be able to get through that, hopefully without too many issues, but we shall see. But for now, thanks very much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I shall catch you all later.